Hello, I'm Mr. Funston. I'm the superintendent. I'm reading chapters 18 and 19. And a fun fact about myself, kind of in relation to this book, my favorite picture of myself is my twin brother and I chasing a pig around my grandpa's farm. Unsuccessfully, I should add. Thanks and have fun listening to chapters 18 and 19. The Adventures of a South Pole Pig, chapter 18. "Where's my cat?" shouted Amos as he came clumping down the stairs the next morning. Again, Sophia pressed close to Flora while Amos delivered a delicious-smelling mixture of bread and gravy and squash rinds. He cursed as he stuck his bare hand into the bucket and swished the last drops of gravy into Flora's bowl. Nothing but rats in Amos' kitchen. His voice bounced off the sides of the hold. "Hey, cat, I find you, I strangle you myself, and feed you to the rats." He stomped off. Flora didn't take her usual few bites of food this time. Instead, she slowly moved until she was standing over her bowl. Sophia stood next to her. After Sophia's pep talk yesterday, and after Sophia agreed to handle the death bites, they decided that today would be all or nothing. Flora even sensed a quietness from the rats, as if they knew a change was coming. "Watch out," Sophia whispered. Flora couldn't see anything. Cats had better eyes in this sort of light than pigs. Then the Rat King waddled out of the darkness. Sophia hissed, and he stopped and sniffed the air. He was clearly more worried about challenging a determined-looking cat than he was about tangling with a pig. He took another step forward. Sophia hissed again, but the rat simply continued on. Flora felt the old weakness in her knees return. "Okay now," whispered Sophia. "Get 'em!" Flora's mind went blank. She never did get the hang of Sophia's training. What was she supposed to do? Leap? Claw? Bite? The rat seemed to smell Flora's fear. He stood up, opened his mouth, and brought his teeth together with a snap. A flash of anger surged through Flora. How dare this little bully with his dirty little friends demand that she give up her food? Like Nessie from the farm, Flora was fed up, and a mean streak she never knew she had flared. In a flash, she spun around, cocked her back foot, and shot it out behind her like a horse. She felt it connect and heard the Rat King land with a soft clink on her discarded chain. "Yow!" shouted Sophia. That was perfect. Flora turned to look at her enemy stretched out and still. She couldn't believe what she had done. Then the rat's back leg twitched. "Sophia!" she called, not moving her eyes from him. He twitched again. "Sophia! Do something. It's killer instinct time." Sophia sprang into action and sank her teeth into the king's neck. "Here comes another one." Flora hoped she could do it again. Sophia let her victim loose and crouched next to Flora. "Make me proud, deputy." Every hair on Sophia's back stood on end. The second rat darted close. Flora spun around. "Pow!" she muttered to herself as she lashed out another kick. The rat tumbled tail over whiskers, and Sophia was on him until he stopped moving. She gave him one shake before slinking back to Flora's side. 2 down, only 200 to go. Flora circled her bowl, still filled with delicious-smelling food. The thieving mob had crept out from behind the boxes, whiskers quivering. The rats whined and clicked their teeth in frustration. They foamed and twisted over and around themselves, a great surging mass of fur. They weren't looking at the food any longer. They were watching Flora's hind feet. The rats in front suddenly charged. She spun in place and fired both back hooves at the oncoming furry bodies. Rats tried to climb her, and she shook them off, ignoring their sharp claws. Again she lashed out, again and again. Sophia darted around to the stunned ones to deliver bites. Finally, the remaining rats scattered into the shadows, moaning and whining. 8 kills. Sophia leaped into the air and then danced a victory dance. "I did it. I killed a rat. I killed 8 rats. I really did it." Flora sat, dazed and proud. "I'm unbelievable," Sophia crowed. "I'm the queen of cats, the enemy of rats, the sheriff of 1,000 teeth. Beware of my killer instinct." She stood on her hind legs and looked into Flora's eyes. "All that training I gave you sure paid off." "Ma cherie," she said. "You can thank me later. Come on, let's celebrate. I'm starving." The two friends had a wonderful feast. Actually, Flora thought she could have eaten a little more, but she was glad to share with the sheriff. After they finished, they dragged each rat carcass by the tail over to the stairs, putting them in a neat row. Then they found a corner to curl up in together after an after-battle nap. What treats would Amos bestow on her now, when she saw what a useful creature his little pig was? Surely he would grant her not just special slops, but freedom. She imagined stepping out of the hold and into the sunshine with Sophia, walking down the line of dog cages. Word would have spread about her hidden talent, and she wouldn't be able to hold her head high enough. The Adventures of a South Pole Pig, Chapter 19. "That's more like it," Amos exclaimed the next morning, staring down at the row of dead rats. Behind the rats sat the sheriff and the larger deputy like two proud fishermen displaying their latest catch. "Rats on my boat got a big problem now." Amos nudged one with his toe, and he couldn't believe it was dead. Then he bent down and stroked Sophia's head. "Good kitty. I made a super choice when I catch you. Champion rat biter." He chucked Sophia under her chin, which started her purring. She rubbed her side against his leg. "And you, pig?" He turned to Flora. "How did you get off your chain?" Flora stiffened. No. No pigs walking around. You stay put, you get fat, that's your job." Amos walked over to Flora's chain and stooped to examine the collar. Flora and Sophia followed. "Bad piggy," he muttered to himself. After filling her bowl with pig slops, Amos reached into his pocket and brought out a length of rope. Looping the rope around Flora's neck, he crafted a collar and clipped it to the chain. Then he tossed the old leather collar away. Gathering the dead rats by their tails, he climbed the stairs. Sophia raised her head high. "That is one impressed cook." She sniffed Flora's slops and turned up her nose. "Don't think I'll need to choke down pig food from now on. I have a feeling Sophia is in line for a special treat. Watch this." Flora looked at Sophia. Then she looked at her bowl of food that she had worked so hard to protect. Suddenly, she didn't feel very hungry. The door swung open again. This time, Amos carried down a plate of greasy fish and set it in front of the cat. "Good kitty." He petted Sophia on the head. "Strong kitty. Queen kitty. I gotta tell the captain about you." When he was gone, Sophia inspected her plate and took a dainty nibble. "Heavenly," she said. "Feels good to get real food delivered right to your feet." Flora watched Sophia take another bite. "Do you think you can chew through this rope?" Sophia swallowed and licked her lips. "Could be a problem. Cats don't really chew on ropes. Still, it'll be okay. The rats come to us, remember?" Flora wasn't comforted. "Let's eat," said her friend. "We're going to need our strength. They'll be back." Sophia was right. The rats weren't ready to give up. Or maybe, Flora thought, they let their stomachs do their thinking for them. The first one dashed in on Flora's bowl as Sophia finished her fish. This time, Flora didn't hesitate to fire off kicks, but it was awkward working at the end of a chain, and she didn't feel the same joy inside either. Still, the rat extermination team worked their magic over the next few meals, but each day they killed fewer and fewer. The vermin would run off, clicking their teeth and screeching in frustration. Then it happened. The rats stopped coming. It would have been comforting to think all of them had been killed, but the sounds of clicks and hisses and chewing remained. Either they'd learned their lesson, Flora thought, or more likely, the two friends had killed off the stupid rats, and only the wise, cunning ones were left. Amos was disturbed when he came down one morning. "Big problem," he boomed. He placed the pig slops on the floor and leaned over Sophia. "Lots of alive rats upstairs in my kitchen again. No more dead rats down here where they come from. What's the problem, cat?" Sophia rubbed herself against his legs, but there wasn't a plate of fish in his hands today. Then she made the mistake of picking out some choice morsels from Flora's slops. "No!" Amos stomped his foot inches from her tail, making Sophia jump back and hiss. "No more free food for you. You got to be hungry. Your job is killing rats. No dead rats, no food." Amos stayed close while Flora ate her fill. He looked at the shadows from time to time, and when he heard the scurrying of little bodies, he shook his head. Flora was careful to leave a few bites for her friend, but as soon as she stopped eating, Amos picked up her bowl. No pig food for cats. Sophia rubbed herself hopefully on his legs a second time, but he tossed her off. "Do your job," he shouted, and stomped up the stairs. That was rude, Sophia said, and she began to give herself a thorough tongue bath, as if not knowing where her next meal might come from didn't disturb her. Very rude, said Flora. But it's true. Sophia paused in her licking. I have to do my job better. How? Asked Flora. Sophia finished her cleaning with a flourish. Hunt them, then kill them. But how are you going to kill them without me? Flora pulled against her chain. The rope collar dug into her neck. Ha! Sophia doesn't need help. I only needed to get started. I have my killer instinct back. Cat attack. Rat hunting is what cats were made for. Flora slumped down on her chain. Catch you later, pig. Don't run off too far. Sophia nudged Flora on the shoulder. Just kidding. I'll stop by and say hi if I get a chance between kills or when I need a break from hunting. Good luck, Flora sighed and then forced a smile. Watching until the little flag of Sophia's tail disappeared into the darkness, she felt more useless than ever.